and welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Hannah Wallace and we're here at Money 2020 in Las Vegas. Kindly joining me now is Scott Johnson from Western Union.
Hello.
Hello Scott, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to be touching on some of the main themes of the event. To start off with then, the intersection of AI and cloud. This is a really big one, but what's exciting you most and what's the significance for Western Union?
Well, I think with cloud, obviously better performance from data centers helps, especially as we see increasing bandwidth around the world. Being able to serve up content to people locally using the regionalization features of cloud means they can get their information faster and we can build better experiences on the back of that increased bandwidth. It also helps with AI, right? AI is processor intensive. It takes a lot of horsepower to run AI quickly and effectively, and so being able to have the scalability of cloud really helps bring that to life. I think for our business, there's a few really interesting applications of AI. One is compliance and sanctions hits. So obviously we handle a lot of transactions for customers all around the world. And so we end up with a lot of false positive hits. There's some names that might be on a watch list that are quite common. So being able to use AI and machine learning to better make decisions about those hits so that we can resolve them without having to reach out to customers and inconvenience them is pretty fantastic. Mm-hmm. The other thing we can do with AI, particularly on the back of open banking, is we get access to richer and richer data on our customers' overall financial ecosystem, is we can help them make better decisions. So one of our platforms allows our customers to run basically scenario analysis on their FX risk, so they can see if a hard Brexit happens in January and they think that the pound will fall 10%, what that means for either their cost of payables or the value of their receivables. Mm-hmm. With AI, we can potentially use that information to eventually bring much richer insight to customers on the back of those sorts of events.
So quite a key significance then for
Yes,
Western Union.
yes.
But what about blockchain? Because I think at the beginning, started off a bit of a rocky start. Mm-hmm. People were saying it's all hype, and then this attention came away. So where do we stand at the moment with blockchain, and what kind of use cases are we seeing it being used successfully?
Sure, so we're watching the space carefully. We've done a few pilots. We don't have anything in production currently on blockchain. Mm-hmm. And really, I'm looking for blockchain to solve a customer problem for us. And I think today we've seen a lot of cryptocurrencies. We're seeing some emerging use cases around identity or interbank messaging for things like clearing sanctions hits that are pretty interesting, but still nascent. It's still early days. So we're taking a wait and see attitude towards blockchain. And as soon as it'll really help us solve a customer problem, we'll be all over it.
And coming back to one of the other top themes of the event is quantum computing. Where does this fit into all of this, and what does the future hold in this space?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a big one.
It is. And that still feels far off to me. I know that some of the really big companies have had successful experiments with quantum computing, but I think the tangible use cases for that still feel a few years off at this stage.
All right, and now coming finally to security. We've been speaking to a lot of people throughout the year about some of the struggles around security. What do you think are the main challenges, and do you think we're looking at some sort of financial crisis to do with security in the future?
Well, I think authentication still creates a lot of friction, and we've made great leaps forward over the past few years in terms of being able to authenticate customers quickly, which is a key component of security. But I think with things like PSD2 in Europe, we're seeing that that friction hasn't entirely gone away. And being on a desktop but having to pull out your phone to authenticate is just inconvenient, right? So I think we haven't solved this problem yet. We certainly still see issues related to things like business email takeover. And I think a part of this is awareness. We just need to, as consumers, we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves in order to really solve the security crisis.
Sure.
Or this potential security crisis that may come. Data breaches are obviously an issue for everyone. We're constantly vigilant against those sorts of attacks. Authentication is tough, but we need to keep pushing our customers to make sure that they're behaving securely. I think it could become a big issue, but I do think the industry is taking the right steps to try to mitigate that risk as best as possible.
And there can be a problem around promoting innovation while also ensuring security. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a fine balance, and I think about customer experience as the other point in that triangle. It's you don't want to get so far ahead where you introduce risks into your system. But at the same time, you also don't want to emphasize security so much that your solution becomes almost impossible to use and no one wants to use it. And so we're constantly tuning that and listening to our customers and trying to find the best balance between being secure in kind of an innovative and fun way, right? Making it an interesting experience for customers, while also not introducing so much friction that they want to go down the road and go somewhere else.
Well, it sounds like you're doing some really exciting things, especially for your customers at Western Union. But I'll let you get back to the event now. Scott, thank you very much for coming and sharing your insights.
Thank you.